Hey, hey, yeah. Man, it's Cali cookout done. Cap out there, Pauline eating in and out and all this, man. Tosdoc still ain't hit me with this itinerary, man. Come on, dog. I know this nigga tripping right now. Let me call this nigga.
Tazadak Ben Yehuda.
Speaking of a saint, let me see what he got. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ.
Shalom, Lord
And Christ.
Hey, man.
What you got for me, man?
The Father
and the Son. Man, what you got, dog? El Padre y el Hijo. Que tienes, man? Le Père et le Fils. Merde. Que está? Scheide! Der Vater und ich Sohn. Ausschlag. Was hast du? Huh.
You know what, man?
I would stop playing with you, bro. I got you. I'm about to send it right now. I got you, dog.
I got you. Lord of Christ.
Dang.
Good night.
Lord Christ, nigga.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Most High in Christ. All right. Just bear with me 1 second, Israel. I'll be right with you. I will be right with you. Mm-hmm. All right, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Brakatham, Yahweh Shema Thum Bashem Yahshua. Preaching officer 5,000 Yadiyah holding it down tonight. You know what I mean? For General Muhammad. Understand something. Black, Latino, First Nation man and woman, now is more time than ever to come out of that world and to come back into this truth. Because there is nothing out there in Esau society. Like, what is our people getting ready to do, Ibad? They're getting ready to celebrate every profane day, every holiday of Esau, not understanding, man, the importance of coming back to our true identity. Like right now, we in the Feast of Tabernacles, man. And we got to remember, you know what I mean, the Feast of Tabernacles, just like the Day of Atonement, just like the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, man, the Passover, and keep these things holy, man. Because this is what our God gave to us. Our problem is we want to join on to Esau and his society. You want to be free, white, and 21. I understand. But this is a lifestyle that we cannot live, man. We can't. We cannot continue to live the lifestyle of these heathens and of the oppressor. If I could, let me get the book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. Bubba Shaw. You know what I mean? I'll be answering your questions tonight. If y'all got any questions, type them in the chat. You know what I mean? But we got to understand the importance. And big shout out, man, to, you know what I mean, the Commanding General YAHANNA, man, for holding down this truth. Holding down this truth, never dropped his sword, you know what I mean, built these zones up through the grace and mercy of the Most High. And, man, listen, give it up for Captain Gadol Hall, too, out there. My big brother out there in California, San Bernardino. Did it big out there in the West Coast, man. And it goes to show you that the Lord is bringing the 12 tribes back together here in the Israelite school of UPK. And it is so important and essential for us to come out and come back here because there's nothing out there. There's nothing. I don't care what some of you might have thought you left a career, you left that woman, you left that man, you know what I mean? If you're a sister, you left your family, you escaped death when you come into these doors. You did. That's all that's waiting for you out there. Understand that coming back to life and saving your life is by coming back into this truth. Now it's time for you to wake up to that. Read what you got, Ibad.
Khan. This is the book of Romans, 13 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Like right now, stop putting off to and this is one thing I hate with our people, particularly with the tribe of Judah, same tribe I'm from in Yadiyah. We do this all the time. Stop putting stuff off to tomorrow. There is no more tomorrow. There's no more tomorrow. You should have done it yesterday. Now it is high time to awake out of what?
Sleep.
Out of sleep. You know how many times I got to hear Yad about people being woke? I hate and detest the term woke. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you think you hit to some knowledge, you think you have some level of understanding, and you don't. The people out there talking about, you got to be woke, brother. Got to stay woke. You should hear some of the conversations me in the car be having. Some of the brothers we be talking to, they be talking to us about all type of nonsense. Watching, getting high, watching Professor Grit videos, watching Alex Jones talking about the reptilian humanoid Jews. You know what I mean? It's people on the moon, the dark side of the moon. Brother, wake up. Because you are fast asleep. Fast asleep. Waking up to the truth is realizing who we are as black men and women, our real identity of being the Jews of antiquity, and that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. El hombre blanco es el diablo. Now it's time for us to wake out of sleep. Keep going.
Khan. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Our salvation is nearer than what we believe, because our salvation is right around the corner. Our salvation is in the fourth quarter, and it's 2 minutes left to go. And who is salvation for? Only for the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, that Latino man and woman, that First Nation man and woman, and that black man and woman. That's who salvation is for, and that's in the Bible. It's not for everybody. Your problem is you want to join hand in hand with this oppressor. You already thinking about what the oppressor has in store and when they getting ready to celebrate. What they getting ready to celebrate, Aquania? Halloween. Halloween. Not understanding the true history of Halloween, but we're going to go into that and some of the pagan stuff that these heathens go into that our people, unfortunately, join themselves to. You had something, Warrior? Make sure he gets the mic.
Sir, now they start to do a trunk or treat.
It's Salakia?
Trunk or treat. That's what Christians do now.
They do trunk or treat. So you telling me that, and we know this, that the Christians are trying to, incorporate it and say, oh, this is trunk or treat. So they're getting together right now. Instead of going to the child molester's house that's down the street and next door to you, you're going to the house of the child molester in the Christian church to get candy and get, for the children to get abused. Is that what you're saying?
So like they all congregate like a big parking lot or whatever, and they all open up their trunks and they hand out candy in the trunk.
Good night. Good night. So they get the people Trooper Aquania said that they getting together in parking lots with them yard and filling the trunk up with candy and enticing kids. I'm not surprised. Not realizing, man, that Halloween is something that our people should not be celebrating. As a matter of fact, can I get that? I buy a whole Leviticus 18 and 21. Aquania, get me Amos 5 and 21. I'll show you that in the Bible. First, let me get Amos 5 and 21. Because our people believe, you know what I mean, that it's all right to celebrate Halloween. It's for the kids. Oh, my goodness, you know how many times I got to hear it's for the babies? You realize that you send your children out there on Halloween to go to a stranger's house to get candy, you hate your child. How do we know that? What do we teach our children all the time, 7 days out the week? Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. They called it stranger danger when I was a child. I don't know if they still saying stranger danger, but here's the thing. Now you're willingly telling your child to go to that molester's door. You willingly tell them, hey, go into the parking lot and let pastor touch you, but you know what I mean, get you. That's a rough situation, Aquania. He's gonna be touching more than just the trunk of the car. That's a rough one. Our God isn't for Halloween. Our God ain't for none of these holidays of the oppressor. And I am going to show it to you in the Bible. Good night. Somebody in the comment section on TikTok, Yadiyah said, they get more than just a Twix. You get more than just a Kit Kat bar. Salaki, that's a rough one. Go ahead, read what you got in Amos 5 and 21.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise.
Wait, slow it down. I need the Christians to understand what you just read early on in this verse. Read it again from the top. Amos chapter 5 and verse 21.
I hate.
The Lord said, what?
I hate.
I hate. Let's stop right there and cross-examine that. But the Lord is saying, I hate. I thought the Most High was incapable of hate. That's what my dear grandmama told me. She said, oh boy, God don't hate. Well, my grandma said she used to wear the little crazy looking feathered hat on in church. Y'all grandmamas was out there, was first ladies of the church too. Y'all know. Guess what? The Lord said, I hate. I hate. Meaning the Most High is very capable of hate. There's a time for love, a time for war, and a time for hate. And let me show you what the Lord hates. Read.
I hate. I despise your feast days.
I despise what?
Your feast days.
The Lord said, I despise your feast days. The key word is your. The Lord said, I despise your feast day. You know what your feast day would be? Your feast day would be Halloween. Your feast day would be Thanksgiving. Your feast day would be Christmas. And God hates it. And that's in the Bible. That is in the Bible, where the Lord is saying, I hate, I despise your feast days. For years, our people thought, you know what I mean, God was incapable of hate, when the Lord is capable of very much everything that your simple mind can think of and not think of. And the Lord said he hates your feast days. He hates it. Wow. So why celebrate it? Why? Why? Good night. That's a rough spot. That's a rough spot, Yadiyah. Listen, they on TikTok saying this guy supports racism. You know what the problem is, Yadiyah, when I go on TikTok, I look at silly comments like that. You see a black man, you know what I mean, in his strength here in the Israelite school of I.S.U.P.K, where you'll find strong black and Latino men speaking against the injustices that happen to our people and what our God loves and hates. And they find out God does not love them, and God hates everything that we do concerning them and trying to please them. Right. But I'm the racist. Oh, man. And you know who else celebrated Halloween too, which is insane to think. I want all you blacks and Latinos to understand something. That's getting ready to send your children out there and celebrate Halloween. You know Trump celebrates Halloween too, right? Wow. Yeah. You know, all of the oppressors, you know what I mean, that do injustice, that hate our people, they celebrate Halloween. They celebrate Thanksgiving. They celebrate Christmas. You're going to do the same thing they do. Listen, Trump celebrate Halloween. They're gonna be back like down there by Trump Towers. They're gonna be passing out Halloween candy to everybody in the thumb yard. And poor Charlie celebrated Halloween too. My bad, TikTok. Charlie down here. I gotta remind me, I'd be so quick to do this, but for the Christians out there, Charlie down there. But understand something. Our God is against these holidays of the oppressor and these heathens. If it's not in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, our God does not want it and does not like it. In fact, he said, I hate and I despise your feast days. Well, here's the thing. I ain't celebrated. And this is what I want the oppressors to understand on TikTok. They said, you celebrate the unaliving of other people just like we do. Let me tell you the difference between us. We as black people and Latinos have something called empathy. We look at what you do to us and other people and yourselves and can say, that's a damn shame. That's wrong. But y'all are incapable of that. Y'all are. And you know who else is incapable of that? Your boy Charlie. Your boy Charlie wasn't capable of that. Charlie Kirk said, I don't have any empathy. He said George Floyd, you know what I mean, was a terrible person. He didn't give a damn that George Floyd had a mother and had kids. But you want me to care because poor Charlie. Poor Charlie. That's the difference between us. You can't say poor George, but we can say poor Charlie. And y'all should forgive the oppressor that unalived Charlie. I do. We here in the Israelite School of UPK forgive the unaliver of Charlie Kirk. And you know what y'all should do? Instead of arguing with me on TikTok, y'all need to go down to that courthouse and petition for Charlie's unaliver to be released. As a matter of fact, you should have never arrested him. You should have took him to Burger King. Because they took Dylan Roof to Burger King, right? And what does Charlie Kirk, Dylan Roof, Donald Trump, and all these oppressors have in common? Every last one of them are going to celebrate Thanksgiving. The mass genocide of Native American Indians, the First Nation, and Seminole Indians, God's chosen people. Oh yeah, they do that. They do that. When that's a day of mourning for the First Nation man and woman. And it should be a day of mourning for the Black man and Latino man and woman because we are family. Nosotros somos familia, una raza. And if you celebrate Thanksgiving if you're Black or Latino, you're a traitor. You are a traitor to your God, your king, and your people, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Because our God said, read it again. Read it again, Aquaniaf. Amos 5 and 21.
Amos 5 and
21.
21, Salaki.
Stay with me.
I despise your feast days.
Our God said, I hate and I despise your feast days. Our God despises Thanksgiving, despises, they despise it. And you should despise it too. First of all, Esau in the comment section said that Black people are unfortunately coming to Jesus Christ, bro. Try again. What the hell do you think I'm doing right now? What do you think we're doing? You do know that Jesus Christ doesn't love you and your people. Christ loves Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians because Jesus Christ was an Israelite, a Black man from the tribe of Judah, and only gave up his life for his people who are Latinos, First Nation, and Black people. What we do here in the Israelite School of UPK is for Christ. It's for our King. The work that we do is for Christ. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. It said, they say it says different. I can prove to you that it's not. I can prove to you otherwise. But to get to another question in the comments section, that's right on topic about how evil. You know what's so funny, Boricua? You in the comment section agreeing with Esau, right? We got an Ephraim brother in the comment section trying to agree with Esau. If it was up to Esau, you know what I mean? You can forget about all the diabolical things Trump has done to Puerto Rico. When Puerto Rico was without power for about a year and a half, Trump called it a shithole place, just like Haiti. And right now, them same oppressors that you agreeing with in the comment section, they don't want Bad Bunny to perform in the Super Bowl. I'm happy Bad Bunny is going to be performing in the Super Bowl. You know why? Because Bad Bunny is an Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim, and he's our brother. And you know what else Bad Bunny did, Aquania, that I like? He said that he won't tour over here in the States because of what ICE is doing to Hispanics. So if I was you, Boricua 1856, I wouldn't be your Uncle Tomas in the comment section. You got Uncle Toms, you got Uncle Tomahawks, and you got Uncle Tomases. And I point this out for a reason, YAHANNA, because you'll be quick to side with the oppressor, but the oppressor hates our people. And you'll celebrate their holidays. You'll celebrate Halloween alongside them because you want to be friends with them. You want to be together with them. You want to join hand in hand with this oppressor. Well, damn it, you can't. You can't. You haven't read the book of Luke. We've read the entire Bible, and we can go to Luke if you need us to. Now, if I could, Aquania, keep reading where you at.
The book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 21. And I will not smile in your solemn assemblies.
And I will not smell in your solemn assembly. Listen, man. The Lord said that I'll hate and I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. He not about to smell none of that Halloween candy you got. He ain't about to smell that Thanksgiving turkey and yams that you getting ready to cook up. He not. What you got to stop doing, Black and First Nation and Native American Indian and Latino man and woman, is stop kissing the rear end of the oppressor's behind. Like I bought. Brother, in the comment section is talking about the white man probably owns the building that you guys are in. They the same type of niggas like YAHANNA that was, well, Massa said this old Massa, you breathe a white man air now. You was there at camp. But we was at 15th and JFK, and a nigga came up to us and said that we breathed a white man's air. That is Stockholm syndrome on an entire different level. And this is why our God does not want us joined hand in hand with you. You know what you're going to do? You're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. You're going to allow your kids to go out and knock on Jeffrey Dahmer's door. Can I get Leviticus 18 and 21? Just before y'all can, because I know what y'all thinking. You know, they love the, you know what I mean, Aquania say, oh, y'all are in idolatry. Y'all are in idolatry. I see the star Molech, not realizing that when you send your kids out during Halloween, they knock from door to door. You're actually serving Molech. You're serving the gods of other nations. And I'm not sure if you realize it, because I understand something that y'all don't. I know y'all don't read the Bible. And I for damn sure know that you don't understand it. That's why we're here. I'm going to teach you something today. You can learn something. We're going to show you what Molech and passing through the fire really is. Go ahead. Read what you got when you got it.
Kawaka. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 21.
Ooh-wee. Hold on one second. Esau made a funny comment. And I ain't gonna lie, I rarely find stuff like this hilarious, but I cannot pass up. He said, you better watch out, boy. He said, boy, Aquania. Yeah, I like that. He said, boy. He said, you might get popped by one of your own. Just like Charlie. Be your own niggas, Mathum Yard. Ain't like that one. Poor Charlie. Keep read what you got.
Oh God. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 21. Mm-hmm. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. Mm-hmm. Neither shalt thou.
Read that again from the top.
Okay. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech.
Listen, you're not supposed to let your seed pass through the fire of Molech. That is you letting your kids go out and celebrate Halloween. That is you letting your kids go out and celebrate their birthday and take them to birthday parties. That is you taking your children to that Christian church and that Muslim mosque. You caused them to pass through the fire of Molech, and boy, I knew you was an oppressor. You didn't have to admit that you was white. I knew that. I knew it. You can let your kids pass through the fire. The oppressor can let me explain something too for my white friends on TikTok. If you want to let your kids get molested, go ahead. We do not give a damn. We care about Black, Latino, and First Nation children. We care about our babies. We care about our people. This really ain't for you. If y'all want to do that, you can. You can get high, do whatever the hell you want. But this is for the children of Israel, man. Right. This is for our people. We're not supposed to let our kids pass through that fire at all.
Right.
Read again from the top.
And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech.
And pass through the fire of Molech. We ain't supposed to do that. You letting your kids willingly go out there to knock on that child molester's door to get candy. Wait a minute, Aquania, wasn't it a story not too long ago about how they was lacing some of the candy with fentanyl? Yeah, you remember that, sis?
Sir, it's been throughout the years, it has been every type of drug placed in the candy, and every year there's at least, I would say, 100 kids.
Good
that
night.
has the side effect of those type of drugs.
Good
but
night.
Every year you let your kids go right back out there, knowing that it happened the year before.
That's insanity. That is insanity. You know, last year that they was lacing these drugs with stuff, and you still sending your kids out there. You still letting your kids. Not only are you risking your children getting touched, you're risking our babies becoming addicts, and that's something that the oppressor wants. If they make, listen, get a sister a hand. If they make it home, If they make it home. And if you make it home, you're now a junkie. You're now an addict. And let me tell you something. That's by design. That's what the oppressor wants. He don't want our children to grow up to be strong. He don't want that brother, that young boy to grow into his masculinity. He don't want that sister, that young girl to grow into her femininity. That's why they push every wicked and evil vice and proclivity out there with the Rainbow Coalition, lacing stuff with drugs, wanting you to be a junkie, especially in what they put out to the music and television and media. The attack on our people is broad, and you willingly let your kids pass through the fire. You're willing to let them do that. You can't. You cannot. Now is the time to cease from the debauchery, from all of that. Stop letting your kids go out there and be destroyed. Like, goddamn. Like, now is the time for that black man and woman to give a damn about each other again. And they care. And what's so important about that, Aquania, that's something that is lost in this society. Our people giving a damn about each other, because we have been taught a crab in the barrel mentality. I didn't have a brother tell me, well, you know, Yadiyah, if it's not me and mine. I'm like, brother, it's not just you and yours. I'm you and yours. You're you and mine. Your family is my family. My family is yours. And there was a time, Yadiyah, where communities looked out for each other. Right. Where we could correct other people's children. And listen, when I was coming up at 60th and King Cess in Southwest Philly, if I got caught doing something by the neighbor, that was it. They knew what van my father drove, and it was a wrap when he got home. My father used to discipline me and all my friends if we even thought about doing the wrong thing. Now is the time to do the right thing. Don't let your babies pass through the fire. Don't give them a chance. Just because you didn't have a chance. And I understand that too. That here in America, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, we have been dealt very cruelly by the hand of this oppressor. But it does not mean that we gotta, you know what I mean, continue that cruelty. That we have to continue down that path. There's a better way. And these heathens don't want that way. They don't want it. You know how they don't want it? Because they come up against, and I'm gonna address some people in the comments that on TikTok. You see black men and Latino men and women uplifting each other, and you feel some type of way because we're trying to look out for each other and build each other up. We don't need to build you up. You're already built up off of our backs, off of our tears and our bloodshed. And to be honest with you, how dare you come in here and say, well, you're off because, you know, God loves everybody. We should be doing this. If that's the case, and if that philosophy is true, why is it that everybody else is up here and our people is down there? We can go and look in every other community of their people looking out for each other and doing for each other. And those same people in those communities oppress who? Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. You miss me with that. You do. Because to be truthful and honest, you don't want to see our people come together. Because when we come together, you know what happens? We stop patronizing you. And they need us. These other nations thrive off of our cruelty to each other, us unaliving each other, and us being in a state where we're away from our God. Because there's something that these heathens know. Give me Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. It's something that they understand all too well that our people do not. The importance, you know what I mean, of sticking by your people and doing what our God says to do. And I'll show it to you. Give me Judah chapter 5 and verse 20.
It's the book of Judah chapter 5, verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people.
Now, this is during the time, right, where this Moabite king is consulting his people against the children of Israel, against blacks and Latinos, right? And guess what? They said, read it again.
Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people.
He's saying if there's any error with these Israelites, if these Israelites have one problem, I'm going to show you what that problem is. If they have one issue, if they have one, what they call it, an Achilles heel, read.
Sir. And they sin against their God.
And they what?
Sin against their God.
And if they sin against their God, these other nations know all too well that if we sin against our God, what is sin? 1 John 3 and 4 says that what? You got it, Ibad? Let's paraphrase it. Go ahead. Sin is transgression of the law. Meaning these other nations know that if that black man and woman, that Latino man and woman, and First Nation man and woman, if we break our God's commandments, if we violate our God's law, guess what? Keep reading, Matham.
Khan. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
That let it consider that this shall be their ruin. These other nations know that if we sin against our God, it will be ruinous to us. Let me put it to you in a box. These other nations know that if they come to our community and we're celebrating Halloween, we're easy pickings because we're disobeying our God. But if they come in and we are keeping our God's laws, statutes, and commandments, leave us alone. And the verse is going to say it. Keep reading.
Khan, sir. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
They said, listen, if they over there sinning, if they over there smoking weed, if they over there eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, we can overcome them. We can overcome them. Hold your peace for a second. They know that. They know that. They know if we eating pork, oh man, it's a wrap. They understand something that we don't. Because let me tell you something about these other nations. They know who we are. I want you to understand that. They know who the real Jews are. In 1946, I believe, or 47, I could be off on the date. I know it was in the mid-1940s, that the president of Egypt said that the Jews left black and came back white. Because Goldberg, Steinberg, Heisenberg, they're not the real Jews. The real Jews is that black man and woman in that ghetto, that Latino man and woman in that barrio, that First Nation man and woman that are on real life 2025 concentration camps. It's not a reservation because it was never meant to preserve the life of the First Nation man who from the tribe of Gad, or the Seminole Indian man and woman from the tribe of Reuben were all born in the Hebrew. It was never meant for that. And these other nations know who we are. And they know that if we sinning and we eating crab and lobster, that if we celebrating Halloween, you can forget about it. It will be our ruin and they can overtake us. Why do you think there is a Chinese store in every block across America? Across America. Just a few minutes ago, I was on Facebook Live, right, watching my big brother, Precinct Officer 5000 Mirage, shout out to him, right? He walking down the streets of LA, and I'm looking, and I'm like, yo, he said, we're going to what we call in Philly, the Poppy store. I said, damn, I said, you telling me that LA is just like Philly? I see blacks and Latinos impoverished going to a store ran by a heathen. And we call them Poppy stores here in America, but let me tell you something about for you FBA niggas out there. They say, oh, the Latinos, they have these businesses. You know who owns the building? The Chinese and the East Indians own the building, rent it to them for an extreme number to keep them impoverished and to keep us impoverished too. They do that. And that is by design. Keep reading from y'all.
Khan, sir. Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord
Now wait. Now this is what they said. They said if it's no sin amongst them. They said now we come over there and they not sinning. Read.
Khan. Let my Lord now pass by.
Listen, they said if we go by and find these Israelites and if they not sinning, if they doing what our God said to do, guess what? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. We got to leave them alone. Go ahead, brother.
If I could, based on what you were saying earlier about the pumpkins, knowing that the root of the pumpkin, where it stems from, and stuff like that, based on your blood type, you know, especially with sports athletes and stuff like that, we eat pumpkin seeds more so. So black people are gonna have pumpkins in their house every day, and if they want to come over your house, and you might, the spider can kill a pig and short as well. You know, you just might got the book. You might have a certain type of dog that you might need to feed pork to when you're cooking pork.
Here's the thing with that.
I mean,
right?
you eating it.
Here's the thing with that, right? Eating there's nothing wrong with eating a pumpkin. Like, if you want to go out there and drink your pumpkin spice coffee, if you want to go out there and, you know, if you like pumpkins, period, there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to examine yourself. If you going out on October 31st and you getting that pumpkin spice coffee and you making a jack-o'-lantern, that's when it becomes a problem. I'll give you another example of that, right? Turkey. Turkey is lawful. But why are you eating turkey on Thanksgiving? You can eat turkey any other day. Let me tell you something. Me and Knock was just joking about this. We grew up on turkey and cheese hoagies. But you won't catch us getting a turkey and cheese hoagie on the last Thursday in November. On that day? Why? You gotta ask yourself why you do that. Why do you do it? You do it because you're in the spirit of Esau and wanting to be a part of Halloween and wanting to be part, you know what I mean, of that Thanksgiving dinner. Yams and cranberry sauce and turkey is very lawful. But why do you eat it on that day? Why do you eat it on that day? You know why you eat it on that day? Because the oppressor is celebrating his God on that day. And you're partaking in it. You're partaking in it. You in all the festivities. Now, in retrospect, nothing wrong with turkey. You're just eating a turkey sandwich. You eating a turkey leg. You eating, you know what I mean? You want to go get a pumpkin spice latte? Go ahead. But when you do it on that day, you got to ask yourself why you are doing that. Why? Because we're conditioned to. Hold your peace. I'll tell you a story that the general told us. It was a sister that would always bake a pot roast. You know what I mean? And she would always cut the ends off. And she passed that down to her daughter and her granddaughter. And her granddaughter finally asked her mother, why do we cut the ends off the pot roast? And the mom said, I don't know. I got to ask my mom. I got to ask grandma. And she asked grandma and said, Grandma, why you cut the ends off the pot roast? And she said, baby, I did that because it could never fit in the oven. See how tradition can be passed down? Now you sitting here in 2025, ovens now, you can put my big ass in the oven. Not saying to do that, but guess what? You see how that was passed down on how just cutting the ends off, and nobody ever questioned, why do I do that? That's something that goes on with us. You never question, why do I have to make a jack-o'-lantern on October 31st? Why do I have to go out and get candy? Why do I have to do this? Why on the last Thursday of November do I have to get together with my family? And I am going to break down something to you that is probably bananas, but I have to say it. Most of you cannot stand your family. Am I lying? Let me tell you something. I'm from the tribe of Judah. We got family that owe us money. We got family that got history about some sinister stuff that happened and was said that we do not talk about to this day. But we get together on the last Thursday of November and sit with these people like nothing happened. You sitting across from that uncle that touched you. You sitting across from that auntie, because aunties touch kids too, that did God knows what. And be like, yeah, pass the cranberry sauce, baby. And you sitting there like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. It's even if I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, Yadiyah, it's a day for me and my family to get together. If the only time is for you to get together with your family because the oppressor told you so, that's a damn shame. There's no reason why family can't get together outside of the last Thursday in November. You cop it out. Because in retrospect, you want to be part of the festivities. You want to be a part of Thanksgiving. And guess what? Where we are in Judah chapter 5 and verse 20 and 21, if they come and see us doing that, they know we're easy pickings. They know it. If they come and see you sinning against our God, it's a wrap. And it's nothing than we can do unless we turn from that. And that's the one thing that's hard to do. That's the thing that's hard to do, Ibad. That's the thing that's rough. Trying to turn from it. Is there any more on that, Matham?
Come.
Read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by.
You know why they said if there be no iniquity, if there be no sin amongst them, walk on by, leave them alone? Because these other nations know what happened to Egypt. They know what happened to Egypt. They still talk about it to this day. I need you to understand on how powerful Egypt was. Egypt was like America, just like it. You know what I mean? America is Egypt on steroids. But Egypt was the superpower on the earth. And the Lord destroyed Egypt. For this same purpose have I risen thee up. America is a glove fitted for destruction too. And these other heathens know that. They say, I want to end up like Egypt. The Lord destroyed them, destroyed Pharaoh. You can forget about Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. You can forget about the Persians and the Medes under Darius. You can forget about the Greeks and the Romans. Wait a minute. You got Egypt. You got the Persians and the Medes. You got the Greeks. You got the Romans. What happened to all those societies that seemed like they were unstoppable? The Lord destroyed them. And the Lord is going to do the same thing to America. Ibad say it all the time, man, that you go listen, eventually you're going to serve the Most High anyway. Why not do it now, Black, Latino, and First Nation man, and get a crown for it? These other nations know that. That's why they said, man, if we go over there and we see them Israelites and they and they keeping their God's laws, statutes, and commandments, walk on by. Keep reading.
Come. Lest their Lord defend them and their God be for them.
Lest their Lord defend them and their God be for them. Give me that in Exodus, Ibad. Give me that in Exodus, the 23rd chapter. I believe it's 23 and 24. When the Lord defends you, brother, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But the important thing is doing what? Is doing what our God said to do. And if you're celebrating Halloween, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? You can't do that. But some of y'all, the brother trying to help you out. The young brother saying, y'all got to sign in. That's Malachi, son. Give him a hand. He got the spirit of the Lord. He came in here. He passing the paper around like, y'all sign in? Listen, he know he outranked me in his past life. He like, listen, Yadiyah messing up. We got to sign in the class. And what I love about seeing the young brothers, seeing the young sisters come up, man, it's a glorious thing because it's what our King wanted, what the angels wanted. It's what our God wants.
Right.
You have to want it too, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Read what you got.
Come. You want me to finish it up, sir?
Oh, there more?
A little more, just a little more.
Go ahead, finish that up and then get what I asked for.
Come. And we become a reproach before all the world.
Listen, to become a reproach before all the world, become an example. The same way on how Egypt was an example. Brother, Egypt was a rough example. And that's something that they know. That's why they said, lest their God defend them. Ooh-wee. You think the Most High can't do it? He can. Keep reading. Read what you got in Exodus, Ibad. You know when you got it.
Exodus 14 and 14, sir.
Where it says, be an enemy unto unto thy enemy. I believe that's Exodus 23. Yeah, Exodus 23 and verse. Yeah. So come. Read that for me.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then will I be an enemy unto thine enemies.
Listen, the Lord said that if we do what? If we obey. That's the key word, obedience. And it's better to obey. It's better to obey. Because if you don't, you'll be punished in a real way. I pray you understand. It's better to obey the Most High. But if we do obey him, read.
Then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies.
Then will I be an enemy unto thy enemies. Our God said if we do what he says and not celebrating Thanksgiving, not celebrating Halloween, not celebrating Christmas, and not eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, guess what? He would be an enemy unto thy enemies. You know who our enemies are? Our enemies are vast. You got the oppressor, you got the East Indians, you got the Arabs, you got the Africans, all of these other nations. That when we read them prayers, man, in Psalms 81, I bow. Go ahead.
Psalms 83.
Oh, Salaki, 83. The water warrior. In Psalms 83, it says that the nations were confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, who's the oppressor. The Ishmaelites, who are the Arabs, man. Of Moab, who's the Chinese. Of Ammon, who's the Japanese. Of Amalek, who's the so-called Jew, but not a Jew, but the devil that the Bible speaks of. The Lord said that he would be an enemy unto them. Keep going.
And an adversary unto thine adversaries.
And an adversary unto thy adversaries. Ooh-wee. Listen, he said he would be an adversary unto our adversaries if we just obeyed the Most High. But you know, our thing is, though, it's deeper than that. Like trying to break, you know what I mean, these traditions of these heathens, and that's what they were put here for. Give me Judges 3:1. Because somebody asked, you know what I mean, not too long ago about like what was the purpose of having these other nations, you know what I mean, around. Now, the Most High does not give, according to Yahweh, 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54. The Most High does not give a damn about these other nations, and I can show and prove it to you. But right now, I'm going to show you what these other nations were put around for. We Judges chapter 3 and start at verse 1. For sure.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel.
To what?
To prove Israel.
These other nations were put here to prove Israel. What does it mean to prove Israel? Put your hand down, iPod. What's it mean to prove Israel?
Discount you or them, whatever. That's what
you on to it. But I'm gonna tell you what it means to prove Israel. The Lord left these other nations around to see if we would celebrate their Halloween or not, to celebrate Thanksgiving or not, to take on the identity and culture of these people. That's what it means where it said he left these nations to prove us. Left them around to see if we're really going to serve the Lord, to see if we love the Lord enough. Because guess what? Hold your peace. Give me Leviticus 20 and 26. What else did I ask for right by? Second Ezra. I'm going to come to Second Ezra in 1 second. Matter of fact, let's go there. Let's go to Second Ezra 6 and 54. The Lord left these other nations to see if we were going to obey him or not. Because right now, it ain't looking too good. Right now, that Halloween candy is just really, really good. It's just really good, I know. That Thanksgiving dinner is just amazing. You cannot wait to get that tree and put it in your house. I understand. But we fail our God when we do that. We fail our God. And what is it? And failing our God is something that we have to stop being used to. We have to. Like that has to stop. Like from what we see, from what these other nations do and how they react and how they deal with us should show us that they do not give a damn about us. Hence in point, look at what they're doing to our Latino brothers and sisters on how ICE is persecuting La Raza, persecuting that Mexican man and woman who's God's chosen people and the greatest people on this earth. You don't do that to other nations. And that's what I want, you know what I mean, our family to understand, Iba, is that 10 Mexicans can't walk through the Mexican border, but 100,000 Ukrainians can. 5 Haitians can't do it without getting whipped on horseback. But the Arabs can fly over. The last time the Arabs was on a plane, 9/11 happened. I'm just saying. That's a rough spot. But it goes to show you something. The hatred that they have for our people. And the importance of why we got to understand that following after them is ludicrous. Because you're following after a people who truly don't have anything. They don't. And I know you look at their gods, I know you look at their so-called culture. You can keep that far away from me. And I will break it down for you. I'm going to show you in the Bible that the Lord does not give a damn about these heathen nations that you hold in such high regard in their ways and ordinances. Read 2 Ezra 6 and verse 54.
It's the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
The Lord said that he made Adam to be Lord of all thy creatures. And of him come we all. Because everybody on the earth comes from Adam. And Adam was meant to be Lord because when Adam was given the breath of life, he was the first man that the Lord was dealing with. He didn't make Adam from the dust, but he lifted Adam up from a low state and giving him henceforth the law. Keep going.
And all the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 55.
And the people whom thou hast chosen. Who are the people that the Lord chose? He chose the children of Israel, that black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. That's who the Most High chose. He didn't choose everybody. Keep reading.
Verse 55. And this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
This world was made for our sakes. It was not made for everybody. It was not made for the oppressor to rule. It was not made for the East Indian, the Arab, and these other nations. That's one thing that we have to understand. Because of what we've done is why the oppressor sits on top of us today. Scripture says, paraphrasing Job 9 and 24, that the earth was given unto the hand of the wicked. Who's the wicked on the earth? The oppressor's the wicked on the earth. And it's case point and proven already for how he deals with our people. The world was not made for his sake. The world was made for our sake. Keep reading. This society was made for us to rule. That's why the scripture also says that when the righteous bear rule, the people are going to rejoice. Them kids in Gaza are going to rejoice when black and Latino and First Nation men are in rulership. Everybody, the Arab, the African, everybody is going to rejoice when the Israelites are in power under Christ. When the 144 under Christ are ruling the earth, because Esau is going around messing and destroying anything and everybody, and especially our people. Keep reading.
Verse 56. And as for the other people.
And as for the other people, these other people, read, pay attention, TikTok.
Which also come of Adam.
And these other nations of people that come out of Adam, guess what? Keep reading.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
Thou hast said that they are nothing. So while you are thinking about celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and wanting to join yourself to these heathens, if you want to be a Muslim, I want you to understand that you're joining yourself to a people who are nothing. I need you to understand that. The philosophy and the way of the Arab is nothing. The philosophy and way of the African, the East Indian, the oppressor, it's nothing to God because they said that these other nations are nothing. Hold your peace. Keep reading. Stay with me.
But be like unto spittle.
But be like unto spit. They're like spit according to God. And that's what you want to do. I was watching a video earlier, right, about how it said in the 70s on how, in Harlem and like in other places, the influence that somebody like Bruce Lee had. And I see it to this day because I see black people hold him in such a high regard. Some of you want to put him up there with some of our greatest fighters, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Little Chinaman is nothing compared to our people. Like, I done seen black people be like, well, he said the water is better when it is empty. Nigga, come on. And that's what I'm talking about. God said that he's like spit. And how do you know that he's like spit? I brought him up for a reason because the scriptures say, you know what I mean, that David's mighty man, took care of 2 lion-like men of Moab. And they call them lion-like men of Moab because these little 2 Chinese motherfuckers was, whoa, doing all that roar and all that other stuff. And Judah took care of him. He came up against a real lion that day. Right. A real lion that day. They don't compare. Some of you was crazy. I was looking at the video wearing the little Moab shoes, the little house shoes I bought. So I forget who I was talking to. Like you went to the hair store and got the little shoes that the sister wear, the black version, you throwing them on. You know what I mean? And wearing the little gi. I see it with you. The same thing when you try to be East Indian, when you wear your dreadlocks, because dreadlocks are not Israelite culture. That comes from their god Shiva. And guess what? That's idolatry. You want to join yourself to Islam. You want to put the turban on. Let me tell you something. The turban ain't like this right here. That turban head is covered. This right here is a mitri. This is the tire that Ezekiel tired across, you know what I mean, his head, which is biblical, which is our culture. And you see other nations try to copy it and try to put their spin on it, but they just can't do it the way we do it. They can't. They cannot. Our God said that these other nations are like spit. They like spit. Keep reading.
Salaki. And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And liken the abundance of them like a drop that fell from a vessel. Meaning all of these different nations and other nations, guess what? They're like a glob of spit that fell from the vessel. What's your question?
Where in the Bible does it say where Jesus says to wear your hair short? I seen it, but I don't remember where it said.
Say it again.
Where in the Bible does it say where Jesus said to wear your hair short? I seen it, but I don't remember where at, so I can go look into it.
Give me 1 second. I gotta check in with the young brother.
All right.
Hold on. See, some of y'all didn't want to check in with him. He ain't want to sign the sign-in sheet. You know what I mean? Here you go, brother. I signed it for you. Here you go. He making sure we checking in for class. Now, what was the precept you said again? What Christ said what?
If I could, Jesus was saying to wear your hair short somewhere in the Bible, but I don't remember where it was at. I haven't seen it in a long time. I just remember it said, men should wear your hair short. It said it's precisely said men, but
okay. Give me in 1 Corinthians the 11th chapter. I know where you want. You talking about where it says that we know what a man with long hair?
I just remember it said men should wear your hair short, and I want to look into it again.
No, I got you. I know exactly. I believe I understand exactly where you want to go. Where you want. You know where I want, Ibad? It's in 1 Corinthians 11 in verse. Bobbity. You got it, Ibad? 15? Read it.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Is this what you were talking about? Okay. Now, read it again, Ibad. Read it again from the top.
Tawakan. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Now, when it says, did not nature even teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? Let me explain to you what it means. It doesn't mean that a man can't have long hair, because my question is, what is long hair? What's long hair? What is long hair? See? Now, some people would say, oh, you got a little hang time, Yadiyah. But then somebody like Thabawana, Captain Akal, to come and put me to shame. And then you got brothers that come and put them to shame. But nature teaching a man that he has long hair, what normally happens when you get around 40 and 50, your hair start to fall out, and it starts from right here, your crown. Because earlier in the verse, you're supposed to have your head uncovered. That's why if you notice with our headpieces, right, this is all uncovered. You know what I mean? And sisters' heads are supposed to be covered because we're their head. It's not saying that a man can't have long hair, but eventually with nature, some brothers' hair just fall out. Now, don't get me wrong, it ain't every man, but it's most men. I know brothers that are well on their 40s and 50s and still got a full hair. I know brothers, I ain't gonna say their names, but there's some brothers my age that hair fell out in their 20s, and I understand. I just thank the Lord, you know what I mean? I still got it while I got it. And while we on the subject, and I don't want to offend nobody, I probably shouldn't say it, but I buy it. Now, I'll use myself as an example. If my hair start to go, I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna hold on. Some of y'all holding on. some of y'all holding on. You holding on to dear life. When nature call and this start to go, just start wearing hats, start wearing mitris. Lord knows, sis, if my hair start to grow, you're not gonna see my bald head. I'm gonna have a hat on. I'm gonna have a different mitri on. You know what I mean? It's a few brothers you see like that. You'll never know. But it's not saying that a man can't have long hair and that he shouldn't have long hair. Because then again, what is long hair? Long hair is subjective. You know what I mean? I may have more hair than you. You may have more hair than me. But what does that mean? Eventually, with nature, our hair going to fall out and it's going to start right there at that crown. It's going to start right there. And guess what? If you choose to hold on to it, hey, that's what it means when it says, do not nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it's a shame unto him. Meaning eventually nature is going to show you that, hey, this got to go. And it's a good trade-off because most brothers that I know, when they lose that, they beard come in and they come in glorious. So, you know what I mean? The Lord ain't leave you hanging. If you can't grow a beard, then it's lucky. Lord be with you. You know what I mean? But it's nothing wrong with a man having long hair. It's not saying that you cannot have long hair, that we all supposed to, you know what I mean, wear, you know, our hair short. Another case in point for that is you got to look at, you know what I mean, our culture. Braids and rocking that fro is Israelite culture. Samson had 7 braided locks. Samson had 7 braids in his hair, and it was glorious. You know what I mean? And guess what? He was a Nazarite. And when you take the vow of a Nazarite, you're not supposed to what? Go ahead, I know you know.
Cut your hair.
But wait a minute. I thought that nature said that you ain't supposed to have no hair. But the laws concerning a Nazarite, you ain't supposed to cut your hair. So it doesn't mean that a man can't have long hair. We're not supposed to all be walking around with a baldy. Nah, ain't nothing wrong with walking around with a baldy. Nothing wrong with it, but if you got long hair, so what? Eventually, over time, we all lose it. You know what I mean? Most of us do. That answer your question? Yes. All right, most high in Christ. Let's go back to where we were.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, you ain't. Okay. No. You don't have to cut your hair, Chase, to a certain extent. You good. You got long hair, wear your long hair. No, you got, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Eventually, we all gonna lose it anyway. Who cares? I mean, do what you want, though. I know y'all gonna hear what I said and broke down and still go out there and get a baldy. I know. Where was we at, Ibad?
Leviticus 20:26.
Yeah, go to Leviticus. Go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26. Baba Kashar.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall be holy unto me.
The Lord said, and ye shall be holy unto me. You know what the word holy means? Set apart, to be separate. Now, what I read in 2nd Ezra is for this reason. Our God is telling us that these other nations are nothing, that they're like spit. And our God, you know what I mean? And Ezra understood that. If you read on in verse 57 in 2nd Ezra, He said, and Lord, like these heathen have a reputation of being nothing. How did they become lords over us? I'll tell you how. Because we disobeyed our God. And our God clearly told us to be holy, to be set apart. Even when you look at the Bible is called what? The Holy Bible. This ain't for everybody. This was set apart for that black man and woman, Latino man and woman, First Nation man and woman. That was the sole purpose. Not for us to be all kumbaya with everybody. That experiment was tried. How do you know that we can't be all kumbaya with everybody? When the oppressor went out there and unalived his fellow man, Charlie Kirk, poor Charlie, you know what they end up doing? You would think they would have sent the National Guard to Utah. Because that's the, man, listen, Aquania, apparently Utah is the ghetto, the new ghetto. There's thugs out there. But the National Guard is still in D.C. The National Guard is in Chicago, oppressing blacks and Latinos. In Chicago, they went to an apartment building and detained blacks and Latinos. So ICE ain't just coming for Latinos, you silly black man and woman. They not. When the oppressor unalives himself and his fellow man, they went out there and hung a young brother by the name of Trey Reed, man. Trey Reed was a young brother that was down there in the Delta. Went to, you know what I mean? He went to I believe Delta State University, I believe. Went to a college down there in the Delta, and he was found hanging from the tree, and they said that he committed suicide, what the autopsy said. And let me explain something to every black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman out there. Black and Latinos do not hang themselves from trees. I'm not saying brothers don't kill themselves, but the last thing we doing is hanging ourselves from a tree. And the autopsy they tried to say said, oh, there was no foul play. But the water to Colin Kaepernick, because Colin Kaepernick went out there and did an independent autopsy and funded it for the brother's family, and they found out that foul play was involved, that he had blunt force trauma to his head, that he was assaulted, and the oppressor was quick to try to cover that up. Because when the oppressor go out there and start unaliving, including himself, you know who he always eventually comes back to and tries to harm? Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. There's no escaping the oppressor's wrath. That's why most of us, when it happened, what's the first thing most of us thought? We all had that thought, like, please don't let it be a brother that did this to poor Charlie. But then it was like, damn, do it even matter? They're going to unalive us anyway. They already do it. Now Trey Reed, poor brother, rise again. But another name, just like Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Rashad Brooks, Amir, you know what I mean? Amir Rice, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Vanessa Gillian. I can go on and on and on. This is why we have to be separate. That's why our God had the wherewithal to let us know that we have to be a holy people, that we have to separate ourselves from them. Keep reading.
God. For I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am holy. Our God is holy. He's separate. He don't love everybody. Somebody on TikTok asked earlier, but does God not love everybody? No, he doesn't. He does not. He does not give a damn about these other nations. We just read it in 2nd Ezra. But our problem is we want to be free, white, and 21. Our problem is we want to celebrate their Thanksgiving and their Halloween. You want to do it. When our God said, hold your peace, that these other nations are nothing. They're nothing. And that we should be holy unto him, for I, the Lord, am holy. Our God is separate. But even when you recite the Lord's Prayer, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Key word, our. He ain't everybody's father. Like my brother Zarwai would say every week at camp, he'd be like, I'm not your father. He's not your father. He's not the father of all these other nations, but he's our father. And let me give you a prime example of that, because a father's love is very different from a mother's love. A mother's love is very nurturing, you know what I mean? Brilliant. The mother is the first teacher of the child. But the father comes correction on trying to steer the child on right and wrong and how to live and conduct his life. And if you disobey him, you get punished.
Right.
Like, for an example, can my son break your house's laws? No, because my son is not part of your house. Now, we're black or Latino. We all have the same God, the same father. We're in his house. Our problem is we want to go to Mike McGillicuddy's house and do what he says. We go over McGillicuddy's house or McDaniel's, and he says, you can eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. You can celebrate Halloween. But we said, wait a minute, our father said we're not supposed to do that. But they said, oh no, you can do it. Why not? That sound familiar to you? That's the story of our life. They tell us you can celebrate your birthday. You can be king for a day. You can be a god for a day. That's all it is. You celebrating that birthday too, you making yourself a god on that day. And our God said that thou shalt have no other gods before me. The Lord don't give a damn about your birthday. He don't. Paraphrasing in Jeremiah, I believe it's 20:14, where he said, cursed be the day I was born, and don't let the day my mother bare me be blessed. Birthdays is a heathen custom, like these other holidays that the oppressor pushes. And you got to ask yourself why you keep them. Because that's a wicked tradition that was passed on to our people that we got to cut out, that we got to separate ourselves from. Go ahead, brother.
Rap music that a couple of other times we was in here. If you can't live under the sun, then what are you really living for?
And what's important about what you're saying, right, with discernment is something that is lost. That is lost. You know what discernment would be? Why am I sending my kids out on this day to do this? Why do I have to go out and buy a turkey? I ain't gonna lie. Turkeys are expensive. Like, do you know how expensive turkeys is? It's like, you know how expensive food is now? You can forget about Christmas. I'm gonna be honest with you. Half of y'all and your kids don't deserve nothing anyway. I'm talking about where my birthday gift for what? Do you deserve a gift? I'm not saying that you can't give somebody a gift, but when you give a gift on their birthday or Christmas, you're doing it unto another God. Nothing wrong if you want to reward your children for being honest and good babies and good kids, but you can't do it on their birthday. You can't do it on Christmas. And 9 times out of 10, they bad anyway. You got to ask yourself, why do you do that? Like, discernment is something that is lost in translation. Like, why do I do this? Like, why am I about to go out here in the middle of East Bumler, whatever, PA, and talk to this oppressor out here that's cutting down trees? Why am I going to do that? Why am I going to put this tree in water in my house and put electrical wire over it? And then you wonder why the PICO bill is high. You wonder why your house is going to catch on fire and blow up. Why do that? Why not say, why do I do this again? What's the importance of this again? And for my Christian brothers and sisters out there, what does that have to do with Christ? If you ask yourself, ask yourself when you think about any of these traditions, what does it have to do with Christ? You will find out that it has nothing to do with Christ at all. That you do it simply because it was tradition that was passed down from your slave master, from our slave master on down to our people. And we got to come out of that and come back to our God. Keep reading, Ibad. Sir. Baba Kusha.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Mm-hmm. And have severed you from other people.
And have what?
And have severed you from other people.
And have severed you from other people. Our God took us. If I take this blade, bop, my arm is gone. It's severed from my body. That's what our God did with us, with these other nations. He said, I am going to sever you from the oppressor, from the Arab, from the East Indian. Why? Keep reading.
That ye should be mine.
That ye should be mine. Because we belong to the Most High. Ain't them Muslims getting ready to celebrate their Ramadan, Ibad? I done seen so many brothers and sisters today at the slavery, all garbed up. You know what I mean? Looking like Ninja Warrior, looking like Ninja Gaiden. And I was like, boy, oh boy. I said, they getting ready to do they little nonsense fast. And let me tell you something. I want to give every brother and sister a hand that rocked out their Day of Atonement, man. I know it was rough. Some brothers, Aquania told me they was going to die, bro. Joking, of course. Aquania, a solid soldier in this work, man. Solid trooper. But understand something. You can't do what the heathen do. You got to separate yourself from that. You look foolish trying to be in Islam. You look foolish trying to be a Christian. You look foolish trying to follow after the heathens' ways and their culture. When their culture is vain, it's nothing. The culture of the Lord is everything. It's everything. It is everything to keep our God's laws, statutes, and commandments. It is everything to live like Christ. And what does it truly mean to be a Christian? To obey and be a follower of Christ, because you in that church clearly are not, because you having trunk parties on Halloween. Right. Clearly you don't follow Christ. Leave that to the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. Bubba Shaw. Leave that to us. Because when you try to do things, you suffer. I saw some of y'all, you know what I mean? And I applaud you, because let me tell you something. When you rocked out for that Day of Atonement, man, you rocked out for our God and made an atonement. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? For past transgressions. What does it mean to atone? You know what I mean? To make things right. And that's what's amazing to our God. Even with the Feast of Booths, to go out there, you know what I mean, and celebrate, you know what I mean, our God's high holy days. What he commanded us in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, to keep in all of our dwellings, man. The Lord wants us to remember where we came from. You know why? You know what I mean? We got to remember the Feast of Booths and why Israelites dwell in booths, because we're rededicating the temple of the Lord. Rededicating, dedicating the tabernacle. And the rededication of the tabernacle is coming up in the Feast of the Dedication, Hanukkah. Like, we got to remember coming out of Egypt. It was rough coming out of Egypt. Like, when we came out of Egypt, brother, you know what I mean? Like, we was like, man, it was like getting out of town by sundown. Because when the Lord sent that death angel to come over there and take, you know what I mean, the firstborn of all them Egyptians, they still talking about it to this day. It's something they'll never forget. And that's why what we read in Judith, the 5th chapter, is important, because these other nations, they know they can be a reproach to our God. But right now, they drunk with the wine of this place. They drunk with the wine of Babylon, the great whore. But they're going to fall just the way Pharaoh fell, just the way he fell, man. And let me tell you something. When we came out, you had brothers and sisters that came up against Moses. They came up against Masha. They said, man, did the Lord send us out here to the desert to die in this wilderness? You know what I mean? And that's a rough thing. And that also lets me know that we are the children of Israel. And I'm going to tell you how I know that. We are the only people that can see miracles and still doubt it and be like, Like, imagine seeing the sea split, like the Red Sea split. Imagine waves on this side, waves on that side, and the Lord sending a ball of fire out of the sky, destroying Pharaoh and enclosing the water on them, and we get out safe. And we talking about going back to Egypt because we got to fend for ourselves, when freedom is everything. Freedom is everything. And you should want to be free. And the only way to be free is by coming back into this UPK. The problem is, you look at not eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster as being confined and being contained. You think being free is living like the white man. When in reality, you doing what the oppressor in these other nations do, celebrating Halloween, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, and eating whatever the hell you want that's unclean and unlawful. But you don't understand what you call freedom, our God calls death. It's death. And you're choosing not just to be dead physically, but to be dead spiritually. To be dead spiritually. That's why it is important to understand, man, on why our God moves the way he moves. To force us to remember him and what he has done. Our God's mercy is tremendous, because I'm going to be honest with you, don't none of us deserve it. I know I don't. I ain't going to sit up here and lie to you. I think about it. Listen, Yadiyah, every day I'd be like, boy, I should be out of here, because I was rough in the world, brother. I was rough. I should not be here. But I'm not foolish, you know what I mean, to not understand, you know what I mean, the forgiveness that was given unto me and our people. And we owe it to our God and our King to do the right thing. And what does it mean to do the right thing? What does it mean? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 13. I'll show you. Our problem is you don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and do what your heart desires. Let me tell you something. Everything that's good ain't good for you. You know what I mean? You ever heard the what's that famous saying that they say? You know what I mean? Whatever, all that glitters ain't gold. Listen, the Lord said this. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but those are the ways of death. And Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, you gotta want to live. But what does it mean to live? And we're gonna go into that. Read what you got, Ibad.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Our people often wonder, well, what is the purpose of my life? What does it mean to truly live? A lot of our people walk around confused and not knowing how we're supposed to move. You think you're supposed to just wake up, you know what I mean, go to that elevator plantation and then die. There is more to life than that.
Right.
There is more to life than just waking up and going to that slavery and dying. There's a way that we have to live and conduct ourselves. Keep going.
Fear God.
Fear what?
Fear God.
You got to fear the Most High. The problem is you don't fear the Most High. How do I know you don't fear the Most High? Because you don't want to do what the Most High says. You believe that you're shackled. You believe that you're oppressed trying to serve God. And what I love, you know what I mean, about our God being a father, a lot of times you rebel against your father because you believe you know more than him. I'll use myself as an example. I was one of those. I was one of them people that thought my father was some crazy old man that did not know what the hell he was talking about. Not realizing that my father lived my life 100 times over. And you see it to this day. When you try to counsel a young brother, listen, I'll use the sisters. If you're an older sister and you see a young sister moving a certain way, she thinks she know everything. She don't know that you done been there and done that you done crossed that road before. And let me explain something to you. It's better to learn from the mistakes in life of someone else that lived it versus to go through it yourself. What do I mean by that? If I tell my son that the stove is hot, he's going to look at me and say, what nigga talking about? What do you know? It's bright fire. I'm going to touch it. And then when he touch it, it's hot. It's like, yeah, nigga, I told you it was hot. I told you. Now you have what? You could have listened and believed me that the stove was hot by going off of what I'm telling you. But you had to touch it to see. It's no different than the knowledge of good and evil. Right. Before, in the garden, we just knew the good. We just knew the law. We just knew what we were supposed to do. But because, you know what I mean, Eve and Adam went out there and followed after the other nations, now you know the punishment of doing the wrong thing. It's no different when you try to teach your children or try to teach someone younger than you from your past mistakes and experiences. Sometimes you have to go through it yourself. And going through it yourself is always the rougher situation. Don't do that. Don't do it. Listen to those that have been through it. We've been through it and done that. You know how many times, you know what I mean, we have to sit up here and tell brothers that smoking is bad for you? I'll use smoking for an example. The Surgeon General tells you on the carton that this will kill you. This will give you cancer. You like, I'm going to chance it. Like, it's not like it's a chance you won't. It's going to happen. You do it anyway. It's better to not. It's better to obey. It's better to obey. You have to fear the Most High. I know you may fear what the oppressor can do to you, but I'm here to tell you, the Lord can destroy you in more ways than not. And there are fates worse than death. Listen, the oppressor can only hurt you, physically. Right. The Lord can destroy you physically and spiritually in this life and in your next life. Right. That's a rough one. But you fear the oppressor. What would they say if I don't celebrate Halloween? If I don't do this, if I don't go out and get that tree? And then that knowledge is passed down to us. I'll never forget the first day I told my mother that I was not gonna, I was not gonna acknowledge her on Mother's Day. I can sit up here and tell you the story about me not celebrating. For me, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the other stuff wasn't a big deal. But when I did not say Happy Mother's Day to my mother on Mother's Day, I'll never forget it. It felt like my entire family came up against me. But not realizing, and that famous scripture was pulled upon Yah, honor thy father and mother for you want your days to be long. And I had to explain to my dear mother that I am honoring you by not acknowledging you on Mother's Day. I am honoring you. I had to tell my father, I am honoring you by not following in your footsteps and continuing in Islam. Because if I have to choose between following the Lord or you, you know what I mean, mom, dad, wife, son, daughter, I'm picking the Lord every time. Precept. Christ's mother came to camp with his siblings. And the disciples said, my Lord, your mother's here, your family's here. Christ said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? Who is my father? Those that do the will of the Most High. That's my family. It don't mean that you don't love your family in the world, but you better love the Most High more. Right. You better love Christ more. And eventually, Lord allow, they'll come around. I've seen brothers come up in here. I'm going to get you in a second, brother. I've seen brothers come up in here by themselves, and next thing you know, their entire family is in here. And I'd be like, man, Barak, I tell you how, why you have a shot? Go ahead, Matham. Go ahead, brother.
Book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 37. Mm-hmm. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
If you love your father and mother more than Christ, you're not worthy of Christ. You're not. You're not. You love your father, your mother, your wife, your husband, or whatever more than Christ, you are not worthy of Christ. Because what our people don't understand, Christ did not come, you know what I mean, to be all kumbaya. He came to set a variance between us. Like who's going to stand with Christ versus who's going to stand with the world. And he said in Matthew, somebody hold Matthew 6:24, but read on, Matham.
Khan. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
You ain't worthy of Christ. You're not. There anymore?
Lost.
Listen, that's an excellent precept, Matham. That's an excellent precept. And listen, man, like Matt, cartographer, you right. And I had explained that to my mother. I said, listen, I love you every day. Why I gotta pick it? Why I gotta pick this one day out the week to love my mama? Why I gotta pick the one day out the week to love my father? I tell my rib all the time, and you know what I mean? And she don't even understand it. You know what I mean? She coming along. But here's the thing. It's like if I acknowledge your birthday and do this, you know what I mean? Like, why does that have to prove that I love you? When you got sisters and brothers coming out the world, they might not understand that. But this is how I break it down. If I give you this on your birthday, guess what? Would you rather this? Would you rather me give you a gift on this day, but treat you like garbage every other day of the year? Or would you rather me treat you with love and kindness every day and don't acknowledge something that God hates? You'd be surprised how many brothers and sisters pick the latter option of wanting to be a God on that day. That's why I say that tradition, it's time to break that. You got to break it. And you have to pick Christ. If you're going to be in there, you got to pick Christ. And if he want to go or if she want to go, your mother, father turn their back on you, your husband or your wife turn their back on you, so be it. Listen, man, you're going to gain so much more serving Christ in this truth. It's going to be like you lost nothing. And that's what I want you to understand. I don't want you to think, you know what I mean, you are leaving something behind out there. You escaped a fate that they have to suffer. And we pray that they don't suffer it.
Right.
I'll be lying to you if we didn't look at our family and friends and family in the world and didn't still care and love them, because that's why we pray here in the UPK that the Lord has mercy on all the 12 tribes of Israel. Right. That the 2/3 don't die. We prayed at the same prayer that the Lord said to that Moses said to the Most High. Moses had to beseech. Listen, you know, when Moses went to go meet the Most High, that they was down, Aaron and them had made the golden calf, and they was down there sinning. They was in the midst of sin, brother. And the Lord was so mad, he was going to destroy all of us and make a nation out of Moses. But Moses said, Lord, remember Abraham, remember Isaac, remember Jacob. Moses was an excellent brother and distributed amazing brotherhood, man. And let me tell you something, Moses better than me. If it had been me, you'd have been Yadiyah, bun Yahweh, you'd have been Yadiyah, we'd have been the tribe of Yadiyah. If it was me, Moses was better. We pray for that level of brotherhood, man. The Lord has mercy on all our people. But notwithstanding, 2/3 will go if we continue to live like this oppressor. And we continue to live like him. What I asked for, right, Bob?
Okay, Matthew 6:24, sir.
Give me Matthew 6:24 and the quantity I hold Revelation 18:24. 18:4.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
No man can serve two masters.
Listen, Christ said it himself. No man can serve two masters. You can't do that. You think you can serve God and love the oppressor? You cannot. I don't want you to think that you can. You fooling yourself. Keep going.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
Either you will hate the Most High and love the oppressor. And that, unfortunately, is the story of a lot of our people's lives in this society, where you hate the Most High. You hate the UPK, but you love Christmas. You love Halloween. You love your birthday. Keep reading.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
He will hold to the one and despise the other. You hold dear to the oppressor and you despise the Most High. Keep reading.
Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
You cannot serve God and mammon. Listen, man, you can't serve the Most High and love America. You can't. Give me Revelations 18 and verse 4. 18 and 4, Bible for sure.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Our God said, come out of her, my people. What is to come out of her? Come out of America. Come out of this society. Put Halloween behind you. Put your birthday behind you. Put Christmas behind you. Put Thanksgiving away from you. Our God said, come out of her, my people. Meaning we have to come out of the philosophy and the way of these heathens here in America. Keep reading.
That ye be not partakers of her sin.
That ye be not partakers of her sins. That you don't live their lifestyle. That you understand their lifestyle, you know what I mean, will lead you to your death and your destruction. Keep reading.
And ye receive none of her plagues.
And you receive not of her plagues. There are more plagues that are going to hit this place. And you do not want that. Listen, the Lord showed you what he did with the coronavirus. You saw the monkeypox. There's more plagues. There's more disease that is going to happen, that's going to come. What we have to do, Black, First Nation, and Latino man and woman, that's what the scripture says in Zephaniah 2 and 1. To gather yourself together, to yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Because this world does not desire our people. But the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge desires Blacks, First Nation, and Latino men and women. Our King Yahweh Mashiach desires our people. And more importantly, our God Yahweh desires our people to come out of this place and come back to his way, his culture, his lifestyle here in the UPK under Commander General YAHANNA. With that being said, I'm Preaching Officer 5,000 Yadiyah at the water for everybody tuning in. And with that being said, man, I want to implore you all to pay your tithes, and I'm going to pass the class off to priest and officer of 500 Mathum Yard.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Where I.S.U.P.K started on West 125th York, New York, for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the leader to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister and sister will report each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister get permission from the head of marriage. Tithes, which is a commandment you can find in Numbers 8:1, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 and 10. It's the 10th in Hebrew, I.S.U.P.K. 10% of every penny of any increase goes to you. Give to the treasury department. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount would like from the whole convocation. The next one, let me see. The next one would be the Feast of Dedication. That's like the close of the Feast of Tabernacle. You know what I'm saying? So the last day would be Monday. Monday the 13th. Correct. Monday the 13th. And you know what I'm saying? You can find this in Leviticus 23, verses 34 through 44. Remind Hakim and Akwafi to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. With that, man, the Israelite Muslims can stand and give a courtesy salute. All right. The Israel, I.S.U.P.K, So, which means to turn, sisters, which means to stand. Brothers, we're going to give the sisters a courtesy salute. All right. The Israel, I.S.U.P.K, Got from the top.